Now to the ongoing fundraising battle going on between former President Trump and the Republican Party. The New York Times reports that Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell privately boasted to fellow Republicans at a weekly party lunch, saying that their fundraising efforts have raised more money than the Trump super PAC, in what seemed to be a response to former President Trump's recent attempts to steer donations away from the party and over to him. Three people who were briefed on the comments and spoke on the condition of anonymity said McConnell not only said several times that the Senate leadership super PAC had outraised Trump's super PAC in 2020, he even had it printed on cards that he shared with his caucus, which read, in 3 cycles, nearly $1 billion. Below that were former president statistics. Trump, 148 plus million, referring to America First, the outside group that was formed to support Mr. Trump in 2020.
So let's bring in right now the senior political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, David Drucker. David, you know, I said when Ron Johnson started questioning Mitch McConnell's political acumen, I said, not the smartest thing to do, Ron, especially coming from you, because at the end of the day, Mitch McConnell's the most powerful Republican in America. He's going to raise the most money. He's the guy that's going to decide where that money goes. And he flexed his political muscles yesterday. And Donald Trump, well, he's down in Mar-a-Lago putting out a ridiculous statement about vaccines.
Look, Joe, I don't doubt that President Trump's going to be able to raise a lot of money in the post-presidency, at least in the immediate, because he still has the affection of so many grassroots Republicans that give money in small doses, and repeatedly so. But Mitch McConnell is not a shrinking violet here. His super PAC, Senate Leadership Fund, a group run by his allies, has raised gobs of money. And with a 50-50 Senate and a great chance to win back the majority, they will do so. They will continue to do so. Now, the danger for Republicans is not that President Trump, former President Trump, has his own PAC and wants to raise money and wants to help elect Republicans. It's, as we saw from the 2 statements released this week. And by the way, if you notice, these statements are coming out Twitter-sized in tweet language, so very familiar. He's suggesting that you shouldn't give to the Republican committees, that the money would be better spent with him. And there are a lot of grassroots donors that Republicans have been able to accrue over the past 4 years, mainly because of Trump and because he attracted them to the party and helped revolutionize or modernize, at the very least, the Republican Party's digital fundraising, which was well behind the Democrats, that these people will listen to former President Trump, and it will cost the Republican congressional committees, not to mention the RNC. And so I think that's the danger for Republicans. And this is sort of a war that they may have to have, but they would be better off not having.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank all of you out there.
Thank you as always.
Thanks to at home.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for letting us into your homes during these extraordinary times.